Welcome back to Clemhawks. This is Gillis TV here, and right before we get this video started, hit that subscribe button for more sports news from Clemhawks, Yak City, and myself as we are into today. And if you watch many of mine, we use the two teams that we're going to talk about, and today it is the Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames. This was a bombshell drop today that, according to multiple reports, the Vegas Golden Knights were actually trying to trade center Jack Eichel to a team to make room for a Matthew Tkachuk trade, which is really huge in my opinion. I don't see why Calgary would do that, having Tkachuk stay in the division, and that's more than why not. They probably traded or was looking at, say, St. Louis, uh, Carolina. There were reports that they had multiple offers on the table, but ultimately went to Florida. Having Jack Eichel traded to try and make room for Calgary is a good idea. Jack Eichel has been nagging by that neck injury that he's been dealing with for a while, but finally returned to play last season, and he did have 25 points in 34 games. He was a +3. He was a pretty good player for the time he was there, but Vegas is trying to make all these trades to make the playoffs, and all these trades aren't working. You look at the Pacioretty trade. You look at the Stone trade. Pacioretty's gone now. They brought in Eichel to try and help them. They brought in Pietrangelo, and ever since the first season, it hasn't really worked out for the Vegas Golden Knights. And bringing all this talent, I get it. But at the same time, just because you have so much talent doesn't mean you're going to win games. It's all about the chemistry, and that's what the Vegas Golden Knights got away from after the first season, was the chemistry they had. But let's steer back to this whole Eichel thing. You just gave up a bunch to get Eichel last year, made the cap room fit and all that, and then all of a sudden Matthew Tkachuk's available, and you want to say bye to Eichel? That doesn't make sense. You would have to trade more to try and get Tkachuk. You look at what Florida had to give up. The second best scorer in the league last year. I'm sorry, but with Eichel's neck pains and his attitude and stuff, Calgary would have had to ask for him, probably a defenseman and a first-round pick, and that might have not been enough for Calgary to keep Tkachuk in the same division as them, and ultimately that might have backfired on Calgary. But you look at Eichel, he has 380 points in 409 games. He's a -66, but with that neck injury, it was unclear what he could and couldn't do, and that's why he got traded from Buffalo. I almost said Boston there, Buffalo. And sorry about that. And trying to trade for Matthew Tkachuk for Eichel, I get what Matthew Tkachuk brings, but he's no different than Eichel when it comes to off ice. You look at Tkachuk's interview today in Florida. He says he hates Edmonton, now he hates Tampa Bay. It's cockiness, and he says it's not, but it is. His brother's the same way, his dad's the same way. It is what it is. I don't blame him for that. He likes to be that kind of guy. I would too if I was making the kind of money he did. But to get rid of Eichel after all the stuff you went through, and as we're talking about Eichel, he scores, all this stuff he's been through that the Vegas Golden Knights had to go through with him in order to get him playing again, there's no point of doing it. Like, Vegas needs to find out a different path, not the best players available, let's go get him. Well, that doesn't work. You just gave up Pacioretty for basically nothing, and you're good with it. It doesn't work out like that in the NHL, and they're finding out the hard way. But that is what it is. This was a quick video of Jack Eichel was being shopped around in order to make room for Matthew Tkachuk. Ultimately, the deal went through, and there were some other trades too that there were other teams on the table for Matthew Tkachuk. St. Louis was one of them. Carolina was the other. But we'll get that out after this video. I hope you guys have a good one. Stay safe out there.